Hello, I'm Cat, and today we've got on perhaps our most exciting Minecraft leak ever. It comes from John, and if you don't want to learn what's in the winch drop till later, now is the time to click away, because otherwise we've got our most exciting leak as to what will be happening, and let's just say it's good news for combat fans. So here is the leak, but to explain it briefly, if you aren't familiar with the situation, Roger Badgerman is dead, and the only accurate leaker that exists right now is this John. He's been wrong before, but he's also been right about a lot of things, including the pig. He leaks in a private Discord server so as to avoid the same legal issues that faced Roger Badgerman, but it does mean, annoyingly, the source of this video is Trust Me Bro, he said that, and hopefully you've been following the channel long enough to know that I don't make things up, and seemingly neither does John. Anyway, the winter drop is about to be revealed at Minecraft Live, and so far all John had said about it was Nautilus, but this changed yesterday when he put this message in the channel: S-pair. Now, you don't need to be a linguist to work out that S-pair here probably means he's talking about a spear, but just to be thorough here, I think we need to be clear that there are some other things it could mean. The S is an emoji, and then there is a pair, which you could say means pair, so a pair of S's, like SS, a boat that is named, that feels like a bit of a stretch, or it could be a pair that is S-tier, you know, a super pair. What would be a super pair? Not one of those lame one that grows on the tree in all the mods, but instead maybe a prickly pair, something that is guaranteed to come to Minecraft eventually, because it's a biome vote loser. Obviously, this would be really great and could be a fit, but I think that even looking at all three of these possibilities, an SS, a pair, or indeed the spear, I think the spear makes the most sense. And so what exactly would be happening with a spear, and how can it tie into that previous leak? It looked as though the word Nautilus was putting us on track for a ocean-themed update, but a spear doesn't feel like it fits at all in an ocean update, and that's because in video games, spears are usually characterized as having longer range and the ability to throw them, but think about it. When it comes to oceans and a longer range ability to throw weapon, we already have one of those in the game. It's called the Trident. Now, although it's possible they change the Trident into a spear, or they make a spear that has overlap with a Trident, it still feels very, very weird, and the only reason I can think that this would make sense is because a spear does exist in Minecraft dungeons already, and it kind of functions in that way, and it's a little bit cooler than a Trident. Let's be honest, the Trident does a bunch of damage, as much as a Netherite sword, but it very much is underused as a melee weapon, and so what if they're upgrading the Trident into a spear by giving it that extra range? That certainly could be a possibility, but again, I feel like Minecraft is very protective of their old assets at this point. Things rarely change drastically just for the sake of changing, and so if there's going to be a spear, I don't think that it makes sense as an ocean-based weapon. It would have to be a new weapon that you can either craft yourself or get yourself that has a unique enough ability that it doesn't overlap with a Trident. And so what if Minecraft is giving us a longer range weapon? This would perfectly tie into a combat update like we've been expecting from Mojang forever. We know that the reason that they stopped doing the combat snapshots is because they're balancing combat and new weapons and tools and stuff for the purpose of actually having PvE, player versus enemies. And so what if they're giving us a brand new weapon that would be perfect for dealing with Tridents and other underwater mobs? Again, it just doesn't really feel like it makes a lot of sense to be the spear, and that's what makes this such an interesting leak. Is this about pairs? Is this in fact a spear? But is it a spear for the player being upgraded or being side alongside a Trident in some way? This is something that would make some sense, but also seem weird. Or is it indeed going to be a new weapon for an adversary to throw at you, or indeed for a friendly thing that you get from the conduit? There are so many questions that come to mind, and I think that some of those might be answered from this second leak. But before I go into this, I need to explain why John is so accurate, and why it is that I only share his leaks on this channel most of the time. So there are lots of Minecraft leaks that come out, and it's really easy to pretend that they're real because everyone likes to believe there are leaks, but most of them never turn out to be true. Our big exception to this was last year. The Minecraft live show was actually leaked by people who are meant to be doing subtitles, and someone called Neptune has claimed to do the same. So this is a post made from Hayes63 on Reddit, who found this from Neptune, and basically they claim to have gotten an early look at a couple of parts of the show, and so this is the first screenshot. As you can see, it shows someone placing a conduit down. They have in their inventory a spear-looking item in the second left spot, a copper sword in the far left spot, and then also a trident, which is very interesting. They're about to place down a conduit, so there must be some link there. But then in this second screenshot, you can see what looks to be a brand new structure that has deep slate tiles, deep slate bricks, as well as gravel, sand, and chest. This is a very interesting diorama, it looks like. I don't know what's going on here, but it does look like maybe we're getting a brand new underwater structure. That is what is being hinted here. But I want to be clear, this second leak is probably not accurate. I think the fact that this second leak came after the first one means that the spear is them jumping on the bandwagon. They put one inside of Minecraft, then they found these spaces to put on there. It is possible it came from the show, and it just so happened to be on Saturday, a busy day 1 week before, but I think that this leak is inconclusive at best and borderline fraudulent at worst, and so I would say that you can just about say that maybe this makes the spear as a weapon more likely, but even then it's probably derivative. And so what can we tell from this image? Well, not very much, but there might just be an underwater structure update, and there might be a real spear, but I would say that the real speculation comes from John, and so is it going to be that there is a new spear coming to Minecraft? Well, ultimately, the answer is maybe. The only way to be sure is later. And so if I come into the conclusion of this video, it's the fact that we have just a single word coming out from John, and he's crazy for leaking that, and it's amazing just how much hype has been built by this, and I think that genuinely he's doing this deliberately, but there's a little bit of self-awareness I want to have in this video, which is covering leaks okay? I think that especially when they are most likely not accurate, it feels very wrong and misleading and deliberately getting people's hopes up for nothing, but when they're accurate, and indeed when they're vague like this, I think that it is really fun to decipher. I think that thumbnails and titles are something we should be careful with, so that if you really want to avoid learning about things you can, but at this point the leaks are so deliberately contrived that either someone at Mojang is doing them for marketing, so this effectively makes a reveal before the reveal, or if they're not, they should be getting paid, because this is 4J level promo that they are doing entirely for free. I think that Mojang themselves should be in charge of dropping the tiniest little breadcrumbs like John is doing, because he's done an incredible job at getting people excited for that reveal next week, and genuinely, there are thousands of people who are going to tune in that otherwise wouldn't, because they need to know the answer to this mystery. But with that said, it is still a mystery. It is still technically possible that not just the second leak, but that John is inaccurate, and that he has an incredible guessing streak, because without any credentials, without anything like that, you are just relying on his track record, and the track record is still only 80% accurate. So for now, all I can say is spears might be coming, but this gets me so much more excited to see what's happening at Minecraft Live. I pray and I absolutely hope for a combat update. Please, Mojang, this is the perfect time to do it, to really win over the community. The only thing that would excite people more is an end update, but what do you see from this? Do you see the spear is fitting perfectly alongside the trident? Do you see the spear as a replacement for it, or indeed as something that goes along the side? Do you see the words conduit and spear and think immediately, oh, this is the connection? And if so, I would love to know your theory down below, because this is the beauty of the John leaks. But for now, all I can say is I am even more excited for Minecraft Live, and what a delightful way to start my Sunday. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, goodbye.